We're going to be talking about more about Dr. Fauci, and Dr. Fauci's lies are being exposed. More of his nefarious shenanigans. Today, this is in Newsweek magazine, how Dr. Fauci and other officials withheld information on China's coronavirus experiments.
Wait, Jimmy, when will Dr. Fauci listen to his wise cricket companion?
So you remember Dr. Fauci denied funding gain of function right here.
That the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain of function research in the Wuhan Institute.
Do they fund
of
Dr.
Virology.
Barrick?
We do not fund.
Do you fund Dr. Barrick's gain of function research?
Dr. Barrett does not doing gain of function research, and if it is, it's according to the guideline.
Oops. Oopsie. So he's lying right there. And here he is again. Now, Dr. Rand Paul knew he was lying. And so the next time he appeared in front of the Congress, he said this.
For which there was supposed to be a federal pause. Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain of function research in Wuhan?
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function.
I like how he says that. By qualified people up and down the chain who I hire and fire at will and are answerable to me.
And furthermore, I think it should be a crime to accuse science of lying.
You're accusing science of lying. So those are he's denying it. There's Fauci denying it. Well, there's a problem with his denials. A tranche of documents surfaced that complicate Dr. Fauci's denials from Newsweek. The documents obtained by Freedom of Information request show that the NIH that's the National Institute of Health, was funding research at the Wuhan lab that involved manipulating coronaviruses in ways that could have made them more transmissible and deadly to humans, work that arguably fits the definition of gain of function. But you saw him just deny it twice. The documents established that the top NIH officials were concerned that the work may have crossed a line the United States government had drawn against funding such risky research. The funding came from the NIH's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, which Dr. Fauci is the head of. The resistance among Dr. Fauci and other NIH officials to be forthcoming with information that could inform the debate over the origins of the COVID-19 illustrates the old Watergate era saw that the cover-up is often worse than the crime. That is awkward wording. The resistance among Dr. Fauci and other NIH officials to be forthcoming with the information that could inform the debate over the origins of COVID-19 illustrates the old Watergate era saw that the cover-up is often worse than the crime. Okay, so they're covering up the funding of gain-of-function research. There's no evidence that the experiments in question had any direct bearing on this current pandemic. In the past, Dr. Fauci has made strong arguments for why this type of research, albeit risky, was necessary to prevent future pandemics, and he could have done so again. But the NIH has dragged its feet over the Freedom of Information Act request on this matter, handing over documents only after The Intercept took the agency to court. So they had a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request, to get these documents. They were not giving them, the NIH and Fauci were not giving them. And so they had to go to The Intercept, had to go to court to get them. And now they're getting them because of that. The apparent eagerness to conceal the documents has only raised suspicions about the controversial research and put the NIH on the defensive. Dr. Fauci told ABC, neither I nor Dr. Francis Collins, who's the director of the NIH, neither him or Francis Collins lied or misled about what we've done. I'm going to guess that's a lie because Dr. Fauci is a huge liar. While Dr. Fauci takes the political heat, the revelation center on another. So here's where it gets interesting. There's another guy in this drama. His name is Peter Daszak. I guess that's how you pronounce it. He's the president of the private research firm Echo Health Alliance. And they received the $3 million from the NIH for coronavirus research and subcontracted the gain-of-function experiments to the Wuhan lab. So Echo Health Alliance got the money from Fauci and the NIH, and then they were the ones who were so there was like a one step removed from Fauci. You get it? So they're doing that risky stuff that people are saying, that some people are theorizing caused this pandemic. The activities of Daszak and Echo Health before the pandemic and during it show a startling lack of transparency about their work with coronaviruses and raise questions about what more there may be to learn. This is frickin' Newsweek. All right? This isn't Jimmy Dore show. This is the kind of shit you would have to hear from me on Rumble. But for some reason, Newsweek is allowing them, I think because no one reads Newsweek, so they're desperate for viewers, and so they're willing to tell the truth about this in a little bit.
Okay.
From the start, Daszak has worked vigorously to discredit any notion that the pandemic could have been a result of a lab accident. So you know this, right? So in fact, for a whole year, if you said that the coronavirus 19 was created in a lab, you could get shut down and censored on YouTube for sure and everywhere else.
Jimmy, it was racist to say that. You were supposed to say the not racist thing, that China has really dirty food markets.
Yes. Yes, that's right. So if you said it was created in a Chinese lab, that made you racist. But if you said it was because they're such horrible, they're so dirty that they have these open wet markets, somehow that wasn't racist. I know. All right, so that's a very good point, Kurt. So here's more. When the media was first grappling with the basics of the situation, Daszak organized a letter in the prestigious medical journal The Lancet from 27 scientists to strongly condemn conspiracy theories suggesting that COVID-19 does not have a natural origin. So do you see that? So this is propaganda coming from powerful people connected to the pharmaceutical industry, the NIH, and the NIAID, which is the thing Fauci heads. And it got himself appointed. So this guy got this article written in The Lancet. He got this propaganda piece put in The Lancet, and he got himself appointed to the WHO team investigating COVID origins, where the virus come from, where he successfully argued that there was no need to look into the Wuhan Infectious Virology archives. What does WIV stand for? Wuhan. What does that stand for, WIV? I should know this right off the top of my head, but I'm a dumb comedian, so I don't. That's got to be Wuhan. That's got to be that
Virology? Is it the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
That is it. Wuhan Institute of Virology. There it is. So what Daszak didn't reveal at the time was that the Wuhan Institute of Virology had been using the NIH grant money to genetically engineer dozens of novel coronaviruses discovered in bat samples, and that he knew it was entirely possible that one of those samples had contained SARS-CoV-2 and had infected a researcher, as he conceded to the journal Science in November 17th. He said, "Of course it's possible. Things have happened in the past." Holy shit. Holy shit.
Well, you know what I say to that, Jimmy?
What?
I don't know. I don't care.
And that's that. The NIH fought for more than a year to keep details about the Echo Health grant under wraps. The 528 pages of proposals, conditions, emails, and progress reports revealed that EcoHealth had funded experiments at the Wuhan Institute of Virology that were considerably riskier than the ones previously disclosed. So they're hiding the stuff they're doing. And Rand Paul was right when he asserted that the EcoHealth Alliance was doing this risky research that Barack Obama had ended because it's too risky and it might cause a pandemic. The trouble began May 2016 when EcoHealth informed the NIH that it wanted to conduct a series of new experiments during the third year of its 5-year grant. One proposed producing chimeras made from one SARS-like virus and the spike proteins, which the viruses use to infiltrate animal cells, and others, and testing them in humanized mice, which had been genetically engineered to have human-like receptors in their lungs, making them better stand-ins for people. When such novel viruses are created, there's always a risk that they will turn out to be dangerous pathogens in their own right. They're creating viruses. Another risky experiment involved the MERS virus. Although MERS is lethal, it kills 35% of those who catch it. It's not highly transmissible, which is partly why it has claimed fewer than 900 lives so far. EcoHealth wanted to graft the spikes of other related coronaviruses onto MERS to see how that changed its abilities. Hey, let's make it more infectious. Let's see what happens.
I wonder if it would be bad. Hey, I wonder if a puppy face is eaten by flies, if it would make children cry.
That's what that sounds like. That sounds like, hey, let's stick a beagle's head into a cage. I wonder what would happen if we let the sandflies just peck it to death. Because we can. So let's figure out. Hey, science has to know about that when it happens. So here they are doing this risky shit because they can. Even though Barack Obama had put an end to it because it was too risky, there's Fauci still doing it.
Well, Jimmy, I better find out that this research at least led to safer cosmetics for us all.
Both experiments seem to cross the gain of function line. NIH program officers said as much, sending to Zach a letter asking him to explain why he thought they didn't. So even everybody at the NIH thought what they were doing at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, everyone at the NIH thought that was gain of function. You saw Fauci at the top of this lie that it wasn't. Okay. So they asked this guy from EcoHealth, why don't you think it's that? Everybody else there thinks it's gain of function. And in his reply, he argued that because the new spikes being added to the chimeras were more distantly related to SARS and MERS than their original spikes, he didn't anticipate any enhanced pathogenicity or infectiousness. That was a key distinction that arguably made them exempt from the NIH's prohibition on gain of... So he found some bullshit thing to say that made it pretend it wasn't gain of function when it was. But of course, one never knows. As a precaution, he offered that if any of the chimeric viruses began to grow 10 times better than the natural viruses, which would suggest enhanced fitness, EcoHealth would immediately stop all experiments, inform the NIH program officers, and together they'd figured out what to do next. Guess what? That didn't happen. Guess what? That didn't happen. Because the NIH accepted his terms, inserting the suggestions into the grant conditions. Scientists at the Wuhan
Institute of Virology.
Institute of Virology, keep forgetting, conducted the experiments in 2018. To their surprise, the SARS-like chimeras, that thing they engineered, that new thing they engineered, well, it quickly grew 10,000 times better than the natural virus. Not 10 times, 10,000 times. And what did they do? Well, it made all the mice sick, and they had the hallmarks of a very dangerous pathogen.
Oh.
So, so the WIV and the EcoHealth didn't stop the experiment as they said they would, or as required in their grant. nor did they let the NIH know what was going on. The results were buried in Figure 35 of EcoHealth's 4-year progress report delivered in April 2018. Did the NIH call Peter Daszak in to explain himself? It did not. There are no signs in the released documents that the NIH even noticed the alarming results. In fact, the NIH signaled its enthusiasm for the project by granting EcoHealth a $7.5 million 5-year renewal in 2019. As damning as the NIH grant documents are, they pale in comparison to other EcoHealth grant proposals leaked to the online investigative group Drastic in September. In that 2018 proposal to the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, a Pentagon research arm, that I think that's called DARPA. Yeah, that's DARPA. So they're dealing with the Pentagon. So EcoHealth sketched an elaborate plan to discover what it would take to turn a garden variety coronavirus into a pandemic pathogen. They were trying to fucking figure out how to take a regular little old harmless coronavirus and turn it into a deadly pathogen that could cause a pandemic. They were doing this. That's what they were planning on doing. That's what they wanted to do. We put it that way. Go ahead, Kurt.
You're being a real prick right now.
I don't mean to be a prick.
Listen, a lot smarter people than me decided this is how the sausage is made, and I don't need to know how they make sausage. I just deep throat it.
So they weren't doing this. This is what they were proposing that they wanted to do. They wanted to create a pathogen that could cause a pandemic. That's what they were proposing. They proposed widely sampling Chinese bats in search of new SARS-related viruses, grafting the spike proteins from those viruses onto other viruses they had in the lab to create a suite of chimeras, then, through a genetic engineering, introducing mutations into those chimeras and testing them in humanized mice.
I should have warned you about this like 5 chimeras ago. It's chimera.
Is it chimera?
I'm getting hungry. A chimera sounds delicious, right?
A chimichimera.
I'd like a chimichimera.
I would like a chimichimera. So they're called chimeras?
Yeah, chimera.
Yeah, what the fuck did you let me talk like that for? Come on, you got to get in there.
I know. I should have.
Well, I got it right this time. Chimera. Who would think it's not chimera? Like, it looks like...
You don't say care. You want to take a care for a chair?
Right.
You know why I know that it's chimera? Because of Mission Impossible Part 2, where Tom Cruise had to get the virus cure was like bright green and the bad virus was red.
Oh, okay.
Apparently that's a true story. It turns out.
Movies are true.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's more to this. One piece of the proposal was especially Stranglovian. Look at that. That's quite a word. For years, scientists had known that adding a special type of cleavage site to the spike could supercharge a virus's transmissibility. Although many viruses in nature have such sites, neither SARS nor any of its cousins do. So what did they do? What did these fuckers do? Well, EcoHealth proposed incorporating human-optimized cleavage sites into the SARS-like viruses it discovered and testing their infectiousness. Such a cleavage site, of course, is exactly what makes SARS-CoV-2 wildly more infectious than its kin. Oh my God, it sounds like they were doing this. The detail was the reason some scientists initially suspected SARS-CoV-2 might have been engineered in the lab. And while there's no proof that EcoHealth or the Wuhan WIV ever actively experimented with cleavage sites, EcoHealth says that the research was never conducted. Of course, they're frickin' liars. The proposal makes it clear that they were considering taking that step as early as 2018. DARPA, which is the Pentagon science wing, DARPA rejected the proposal, listing among its shortcomings the failures to address the risks of gain-of-function research and the lack of discussion of ethical, legal, and social issues. So even the Pentagon is like, no, you can't do this shit. The Pentagon, which slaughters people on the regular and lies about it. Even they're saying, you can't do this. You're going to create something horrible, maybe even look at this. So that was a level-headed assessment. What's remarkable is that much of the same work that crossed the line for the Department of Defense, so Department of Defense was like, that goes too far. That same shit was embraced by the NIH. So the Pentagon has more integrity over this than the NIH does. The NIH is like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's start a pandemic. Let's take a shot. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Who knows?
They should have a new Disney documentary called Fauci, Too Hot for DARPA, and it should expose the viruses that are too hot.
So the NIH and EcoHealth have asserted that none of the engineered viruses created with the NIH grant could have become SARS-CoV-2. They keep saying that. They keep saying that. Oh yeah, that stuff that we were doing that we've been covering up and lying about. Well, you can believe us now when we say there's no way that stuff, that those experiments led to this pandemic. You can trust us. That's what they're saying. On that, everyone agrees the viruses are too distantly related. But the detailed recipe in the DARPA application is a blueprint for doing just that with a more closely related virus. For years, a large number of bat samples from the region that harbors viruses similar to SARS-CoV-2 were sent to the WIV, Wuhan Institute of Virology. In other words, EcoHealth's team was in the right place at the right time to have found things very close to SARS-CoV-2 and to have sent them to Wuhan. A lack of evidence proves nothing, but neither does it put EcoHealth's or the WIV's actions in the early days of this pandemic in a good light. Why choose not to share valuable information on SARS-like coronaviruses with the world? Why keep it hidden? Why not be transparent? What are you hiding? Why not explain your projects and proposals and give scientists access to the unpublished virus sequences in your databases? Why not do that? Because they're hiding something. That's why. For whatever reason, they chose crisis management mode instead. The Wuhan Institute of Virology went into lockdown. Databases were taken offline. Dizak, which is the guy who heads the EcoHealth, he launched his preemptive campaign to prevent anyone from looking behind the curtain. And EcoHealth and NIH tried hard to keep the details of their collaboration private. Congressional inquiries focusing on Dr. Fauci and the NIH's decision to fund unnecessarily risky research by a lab in Wuhan are probably forthcoming if, as appears increasingly likely, Republicans take control of Congress after the 2022 midterms. So we're going to find this shit out after 2022 midterms. Because the Republicans are going to do some investigating of Fauci and the NIH and the NIAID. While it's important to understand how the NIH came to use such poor judgment in its dealings with EcoHealth Alliance, that won't tell us much about the Wuhan Institute of Virology's research in the months leading up to the pandemic. Answers are more likely to lie in the records of EcoHealth Alliance. Republicans and Democrats alike should be eager to find them. We'll see. And let's remember this. This is Kary Mullis, inventor of the PCR test and Nobel laureate in chemistry, offered his heartfelt sentiment about Fauci. Here's what he thinks about Fauci.
And listen, these guys like Fauci get up there and start talking, he doesn't know anything really about anything. And I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine. He should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on the bottom. Those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. They've got a personal kind of agenda. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to. And they smugly, like Tony Fauci, does not mind going on television in front of the people that pay his salary and lie directly into the camera.
And now you know the rest of the story. And now you know just how nefarious these pieces of it are. And now you know why Anthony Fauci should not only not be still the top doctor running this pandemic response, he should be prosecuted and in jail. For lying to Congress. Anything you so and there and for how about all the cover-ups? Go ahead, Kurt. What would you like to say?
When was this video from? How long? This is from a while ago, right? This is like not even this crisis. This was like a
This is another crisis. Yeah. This I think
so it's him sucking the whole.
He died. People knew about Fauci being this guy, this horrible of a guy. He doesn't treat patients. He's not charged with. So when someone has COVID-19, they don't go to Dr. Fauci and ask them to cure him. Nope, he's not doing that. Dr. Fauci does not take care of patients. What does he take care of? Big pharma. That's what he does. And even the Department of Defense thought he was out of control. Even the Department of Defense thought that research stuff was out of control, that Fauci had funded. Jimmy,
you got to admit, his one patient is doing very well.
So that should, again, if Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s book doesn't end Fauci, so facts aren't going to end anything. It doesn't seem like facts are going to end anything because the facts didn't end Russiagate. Facts didn't end Iraq war. Facts aren't ending anything. Facts don't matter. They have an agenda and they're going to smear and slander anybody and anything. They're going to tell you medicines that won the Nobel Prize are for horses. They're going to lie to you about that. They're going to tell you doctors who invented the mRNA vaccine technology are kooks. They're going to tell you people who have better ideas about how to handle this are right-wing maniacs. They're going to tell you guys like me who are anti-vaxxers, even though I'm not. They're going to do all that because that's all they got. Because this is the kind of shit those people are doing. These are nefarious criminal class liars. I'm talking about the people of Dr. Fauci, the guy running the NIH, Francis Collins. Anything else you'd like to add to this, Kurt?
I actually, it's so bad now that I actually now appreciate when they take the time to lie to me and not just tell me, don't even think about it, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to make up a story for me? I'm that dumb? You can't even...
Right?
Say some science words.
Say some...
I thought you could put blood in an electron microscope and see a virus, just like Fauci.
I thought so too. Everybody come see our live stand-up shows. We're coming to Raleigh, North Carolina at the end of January and Philadelphia in February. See you there.